Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. It's weekly recap time. So, I'm an owner operator. I'm leased to an 80/20 split carrier. I don't talk about that carrier. It really just benefits me none to do that. So, I go over my numbers here. I talk about the loads I've done. I've been at this for close to 16 years now. And I just go over the reason I do the loads. I go over the variable cost. I go over strategies in business and whatnot. I try to do one of these every week. Sometimes I get behind. This will probably be less than a week since I did my last one. I'm about 3 weeks behind right now. I don't skip weeks. The good weeks, the bad weeks, they're all in there. I don't do this to brag. I don't do this to show off. I do this to help the guys that are thinking about becoming owner operators. And when I say guys, I mean people, not just men. So I do it for them. I do it for the people that want to be an owner operator, but they really don't know the numbers. Should they do it? Who knows? This is just one piece of the puzzle. By all means, take some other trusted sources and kind of use it to get a idea of is it worth giving up what you got to try to become an owner operator. Who knows? Who knows? Um, the lighting in this truck is horrible. I don't feel like putting up my LEDs right now. We're just going to run through some numbers so I can have a weekly recap and not be any farther behind than I already am. If you're new to the channel, think about subscribing. If you make it to the end, maybe hit that like button, click on one of the other videos at the end, and continue watching. I've been doing the weekly recap for probably 2.5, maybe 3 years now. There's a lot of them out there. Like I said, don't skip them. If it's bad, I tell you it's bad. So, with that being said, that's basically the rundown on the weekly recap. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I forgot. I'll get to it later. At the end of the video or near the end of the video, you will hear me say this is the money left to do what I have to do with. That is where you would want to plug in your fixed cost, your truck payments, your insurances, your whatnots. I recently paid my truck off, so I no longer have a truck payment. But that's where you would want to plug it in. If you're going to have $1,000 truck payment, a $2,000, $3,000 truck payment, you'd want to plug that in at that time, and so you could get an idea of what you could be making on average. There are some things I probably should put in on this, probably some things I should leave out, but sometimes I put them in, sometimes I leave them out. I just tell you about it that way. Transparency is key in this. So with that being said, let's get down to it. This was a holiday week, okay? This was the week between Christmas and New Year's. So basically how it worked out was I had went down and did some loads and came back up to Wisconsin. And for you guys that don't know, I'm from Minnesota. I like to go out and back 1,000, 1,500 miles, turn around, come back home. That's how I like to do it. That's kind of my week, an out and a back. Around holidays and certain dates when I got to be home for certain things, I'll vary that just to kind of maximize my money but still be able to get home. So, sometimes it just works out a little weird. So I had brought a load up from, I can't remember where that last load came from. I don't think I have that paper here. I was thinking I came up from like Texas maybe. I think I came from like Texas up to Wisconsin. And the load that was coming up from Texas to Wisconsin, I took that home for Christmas. So this picks up on this load, that load delivered on the 27th of December. So I got a couple days at home. I went and delivered this load, and then I wanted to be home for New Year's as well. And so basically what I done is I was like, trying to find a load where I could make some decent money but be back in a few days. You know what I mean? So very possible in a good freight market. And the company I'm leased onto, I let them dispatch me. The guys sit in the office refreshing the freaking load board all day. They find better stuff than I can find. I've dispatched myself before. You know, at one point I had my own authority. You know, I've done it all in trucking. Basically, I mean, anything from flatbed to food service and everything in between. So I just know they find better freight than I can. It's a fact. I don't have to waste the time doing it. They don't charge me to do it, so I say let them run with it. So they called me knowing I was delivering over there in Wisconsin, and they said, hey, we got a load, you know, knowing you don't want to do, you know, your normal thing. We got a load that's 15 miles away in Wisconsin, and it is going down to Missouri, a little south of Kansas City there. So, Wisconsin to Missouri, 35-degree load. I do pull reefer. If it's not reefer, I'll let you know, but most of the time it's going to be a refrigerated load. 35 degrees. I think it was a load of cheese product or something. I can't remember. 41,000 pounds that load was. 35 degrees, 15 empty miles, 635 on the loaded miles for a total of 648 miles. That load paid $27.50. That's good times. That's good times. That's well into the $4 mark coming out of Wisconsin down to Missouri. And got that load off, and then did not get reloaded that day. That was an afternoon delivery, and my next load picked up the next afternoon. They offered to try to find me something short in the Kansas City area to kind of tack on a few $100. I said that's not necessary for me. I'm not a big fan of those little fill-in loads like that because you run into a lot of problems. Now, if I wasn't trying to get back home, maybe I would have done that. But at the point, if I'm not trying to get back home, I'm looking for big money. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times, you know, somebody from the office will text me and they'll say, hey, do you want to load? Or are you trying to get somewhere special? And I just type back big money. You know, big money. Find me some big money. Because that's what I'm out here for. You know what I mean? Like, I've often said I'd take a load to hell if it paid right. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it ain't ice cream and I can find a back haul, you know, I really don't care. So anyway, picked up the next load, and I've done this load before actually. So when they called me with it, I was kind of happy because I know how things work on it. You know what I mean? There's something to be said about familiarity, right? So that load picked up out of Kansas City metro area, and that went back up to Tomah, Wisconsin, up to Walmart up there. Negative 10 degree, 36,000 pounds on that load, 116 deadhead, for 524 loaded miles for a total of 640 miles on that one, and that paid $24.75. So we're still in the $4 a mile range. I like it when I can bounce around in that area and make that kind of money. It works out well for me. So basically, 3.5, 4-day work week. Sorry, almost yawned there. Been up too long, gotta go to bed. But anyway, so that was the loads. Wisconsin, and when I say Wisconsin, that first load was like very western, almost Minnesota, just barely into where did that go? Eau Claire. Okay, Eau Claire. So you guys that know, Eau Claire's like, it's about an hour into Wisconsin. So basically Wisconsin down to South Missouri, like south of Kansas City by probably 70, 80 miles. Back up to Kansas City back over to Tomah, and then from Tomah, they said, hey, do you want me to find you a load from Tomah back to Minnesota? Like a 200-mile run, maybe like $500-700. I said, no, that ain't me again. It just ain't me. It ain't me. I feel like some guys can get away with that, but I feel like when I try to squeeze every little penny out of the week, I run into more problems than I do solutions. So sometimes, for me, that's why I like those 1,000 to 1,500 mile runs. I feel like in reefer, that's a good range of length of haul. and I don't have to worry about getting loaded, unloaded, reloaded, unloaded. You know, I make my week as simple as I can. I still make good money. You know, I could probably make more money. I know there's guys out there that are doing it, you know, squeezing those little in-between loads and making that kind of money. But for me, like I say, it turns into more problems than you know, than solutions. So that was the week. I deadheaded home from Toma, probably like 100 and what was it? Probably 140, 150 miles from, maybe more than that, maybe like 180 to the house. Don't care. Ugh, excuse me. It is bedtime. So let's go over the numbers of the week. I know that's why you guys are here. I know that's what you want to see. So the total for the week, gross money, was $5,225, $52.25 gross. My 80% of that is going to be $4,180. Total miles was 1288 on the miles total for the week. Let's see, that was all miles was 1288. That's 405 a mile, all loaded miles, or excuse me, all miles, not just the loaded, all miles. Every mile this truck turned was 405 a mile. My 80% is 324 a mile, so I like that. 131 deadhead miles, and that is 11% deadhead. I don't feel like that's too bad doing shorter runs, you know, as far as the percentage is going to go up when you're doing shorter runs, I think. Or not always, but, you know, if you think of it, it should work out that way. Logically speaking, you're probably going to have a higher percentage of deadhead on shorter runs, just the way it is. That's $4.52 per loaded mile. Now, I only talk about the loaded miles to show you the rates in the areas. And, you know, $4.52 a loaded mile, that's craziness. That's craziness. This was in between Christmas and New Year's. Lots of guys had good years. Lots of guys took this week off, you know. For me, I like making money. I just like it. I don't know. There's something about it. It's almost damn an addiction for me at some point. You know, I mean, I should probably be in bed right now, but instead I'm up here making YouTube videos trying to squeeze $1 out of that. So, if you appreciate that, get that thumbs up button for me if you would appreciate it. But you know, I said, hey, I got 4 days where I could go out here and I could turn a little bit of revenue and still be home for Christmas and still be home for New Year's. Why not? Why not go turn a dollar, you know? It ain't like we don't need things at the house, you know. There's always money to be spent around there. So I went out and did it. But that's the breakdown on the mileage and everything. Let's get over here to the variable expenses. $6.12 on diesel. Horrible fuel economy this week. Horrible fuel economy. It's that time of year. You know, when you're in the upper Midwest, it's cold out. You gotta idle a lot. You gotta warm your truck up in the morning, which takes longer. You got to leave it running at night when it's, you know, negative 10 degrees outside. I recommend you leave her running. You know, it's just bad on fuel economy. It's that time of year. You pay the prices. Luckily, the freight's paying so good right now, it's a no-brainer. You know, so what, fuels went up a little bit. I say if you're stressing fuel prices, check out my Mudflap app link in the description of this video. Save yourself a few dollars right there with that Mudflap app. I appreciate you signing up with my link. Gets me $10 in free fuel. Get you $10 in free fuel as well. So we spent $6.12 on diesel. We spent $44 on reefer. That second load was negative 10 degrees. I don't know if I said that or not, but it was so damn cold out. You know, they were both start and stop. You know, the first one was cheese, 35 degrees. You know, that's a start and stop load as far as I'm concerned. I'll probably run it continuous for the first few hours just to make sure my temperatures are nice and consistent. And then once we get everything where it needs to be, we go and start and stop with it. And the load coming back, the frozen food load, that was definitely a start and stop load. You know, like when you got frozen food that's, probably been frozen for 6 months, there's no reason to run that continuous. It's a very good consistent temperature. Been frozen for a while. It's like when you're hauling Eggo waffles, or something like that. You don't worry about it. You put it on start and stop, especially if it's, negative 10-degree load and it's 2 degrees outside. Yeah, most definitely that's start and stop in my world. So yeah, 44 reefer, $33 on Def Fluids. Boy, them fluids are getting expensive out there, let me tell you. $26, we did scale both of those loads. I'm a stickler for scales. I don't know. It's cheap insurance. I don't even know if there's any scales that would have been open during that week on that route, but what's $13 for peace of mind? For me, that's the way I look at it. So variable cost going to be $715. Almost said 7,000. Whoo, that would have been a losing week. $715 variable cost total, and we bring over my 4180. My 80%. We subtract $715 variable cost. That leaves me $3,465 left to do what I have to do with. And that's why I got out and hustled, that covers my insurance cost. Hell, that almost pays my bills for the month right there, so I don't know. That's why I do it. Because, you can make a decent amount of money out there churning for a couple days. Why not? But that's it for the week, guys. I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody joining up with the channel. Lots of new subscribers. Thank you to everyone out there that's doing that for me. If you find some value in the channel, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It's fun. Come hang out at a live show with me. I appreciate that. I love doing live shows. It's a lot of fun for me. That's the main reason I do them, because I enjoy them. I hope you do too. And until later, guys, just take care of each other out there. Bye.